Hi, my name's Paul Tilstone, and today I'm in conversation with Shane Berry from Mint House. So Shane, thank you for joining us today.
Happy to, Paul.
Now you're American-based or you're Dublin-based?
I'm based in the US at the moment,
Okay,
yes.
okay. So you're from a company called Mint House.
That's correct.
And we're asking people in these interviews to select some components from our managed travel model and talk about why they're important at the moment for the travel buyer. But before we do that, I certainly didn't know much about Mint House, and I've been really interested in what you've just been telling me. But perhaps you could just sort of tell me again, what is it that Mint House does? What makes you different to everything else that's out there?
Absolutely. So Mint House is an apartment-style accommodation option for business travelers.
Okay.
Particularly for road warriors who are looking for the feel of a high-end hotel, 4-star hotel, but with all the comforts and conveniences of home. And it's all powered by a layer of technology.
And what do you mean by powered by a layer of technology? You mean sort of in-room accessories or?
End to end, Paul. So basically starting off with the check-in process.
Okay.
There's no need to physically check in at a Mint House. You get
Okay.
all the information served up to you on a phone, and you can actually skip the check-in line and go straight to your room and access your room again
So it's a
via your
mobile
phone.
key, is it? Or?
It's basically a keypad.
Okay.
You'll get a code on your phone
Okay.
for a keypad, but the mobile key is also something that's in our roadmap.
Okay.
So that's not it only, but also you can actually personalize your room using technology in advance of actually entering your travel suite. And you do that, for example, by pre-ordering groceries that can be delivered to your fridge in
Wow.
advance. So I don't know about you, but for
Cold
me...
beer on arrival.
Absolutely. For me, it's very difficult to resist the sausages and the bacon.
Yes.
Not good for me.
No.
Rather stay on my diet, so I can actually order in advance that those groceries that I would like to have for breakfast and have them pre-delivered to my unit.
That's nice.
So,
There's a well-being play there, isn't
exactly,
there? Really.
Exactly.
Okay.
Also, you can use your phone to set the temperature in your travel suite as
Okay.
well. So in advance, and pretty much the phone ends up being a digital tool, digital concierge. So we've just rolled out a massage service across all of our properties. You can engage with the concierge via this particular device. You can, again, order food, get more housekeeping if you need an extra pillow, all through the phone. Because Paul, these days people don't like picking up the phone and talking to people.
No, not real people, no.
So,
you want to get to your room and that's it, isolation.
Exactly.
Well, thank you for that. It's a really great education. It sounds a really interesting product. Let's go back to the managed travel model. Which component do you want to choose from that model?
The lodging component,
Okay.
accommodations.
Okay,
yeah.
and why in particular, I mean, obviously you're in that sector, that makes very logical sense, but what is it about that sector you think the buyers need to be thinking about when it comes to strategy?
Well, we're a 3-year-old company,
Yeah.
and we've been poring over lots and lots of research, and I'll just draw your attention to a couple of data points.
Please, yeah.
One is that 50% of the workforce today are millennials,
Yep.
right? And with respect to millennials, 48%, yes, of millennials are actually traveling regularly as a part of their job. And what we've found, and what I've found personally by speaking to 28 to 30 large and global corporations over the last 10 or so months, is that they're telling me that their travelers are increasingly veering away from policy and into these alternative accommodation options, these Airbnb type offerings that you would find on those types of platforms.
Yeah.
And the concern for the corporations is that they don't always have the duty of care obligations covered when their travelers are actually staying in those types of accommodations.
Yes.
So for us, it seemed like a wonderful opportunity to actually serve up that kind of accommodation option for travelers, but also not to ignore the needs of the travel manager. So we make sure that our properties are absolutely at a standard that the travel manager would be comfortable with.
So there's quality, there's safety, and location as well. It's really important to have the right locations.
Secure Wi-Fi,
Yeah.
for example, ensuring that there aren't any cameras hidden up on a shelf somewhere in a unit,
Yes.
making sure that
The data's secure.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. So those things are very, very important, obviously, to corporations, and something that, because we control all of the inventory completely within our business, we have the ability to make sure that we deliver 100% on those requirements.
So you sort of started that by saying it was 48%, you said, of the workforce is millennial, or 48% of that millennial workforce are traveling regularly, I think you said.
Yes.
Do you think that what you offer is primarily for that group, that generation, or do you also see the demand across other generations as well, and a shift away from people like me, for example, away from standard hotel need to actually a plethora of different options, and one time it might be a hotel and another time it might be something like Mint House?
Yes. I think that's very true. We are not anticipating that the Mint House model is going to replace the massive hotel industry of today, but we definitely believe that there is space for innovation in this hotel model. People are tired of these box-style small hotel rooms with nowhere to work and not the best food options, for example. So I do think that our model does directly apply to that road warrior who is just looking for a better experience when they travel.
Yeah.
And so I think we will see it permeate across millennials and pretty much any business traveler who's just a frequent traveler and is tired of the existing experience, and so it will be a new option for them.
So one of the things that I know about this particular space is there's a lot of new entrants coming into this space, and one of the challenges, I understand it, is the distribution of the product to the end customer. And actually having all these different options at the point of sale. So how do you distribute your product? Do you direct to the customer? Do you use API distribution into booking tools? Is it GDS based? All of the above?
Pretty much all of the above.
Okay.
We're on all the major GDSs, and we are building relationships and getting on all of the major consortia programs. We're pretty much there with all the consortia programs. And we're also looking at any distribution option or any distribution channel that one of the large corporations that we work with wants us to be engaged with.
Okay, great.
We're small, we're nimble, and we're able to integrate where we need to integrate.
Okay.
But what's important is, I think, being able to be on the platforms that the corporations want us to be on, so that's our priority.
And how do you get your product attributes across? Because thinking about what you've said, the use of the mobile for pre-ordering food or controlling the temperature, through the distribution channels, how do you get that stuff across to people?
So if a transaction comes through the GDS, we will actually get information about the traveler, and we will send an email to the traveler to give them all the information that they need to know in advance of staying at a Mint House. And depending upon, as you're well aware, there's so many different distribution options, and not all of them are the same. So we have to adjust to each scenario to ensure that we can actually have a direct communication with the traveler so that they can take advantage of that frictionless experience that we offer end to end.
Okay. And given you said 30 buyers, I think you'd spoken to in depth about this, do you see a shift in their lodging program, in their policy, and the content that they're building into the program? Or do you think it's sort of a bit slow in adoption, that corporations and buyers are changing these policies?
It's a great question. Of the 30 buyers that I've spoken to in depth over the last 8 or so months, only 2 of them tolerate this kind of option in their hotel program.
It's interesting you use the word tolerate as well.
Tolerate, that's what was used. Tolerate. Nobody promotes it, they tolerate it for all the reasons we discussed earlier. And they've all told me that, and they're all very interested in supporting this particular option. What we need to do at Mint House is develop inventory in the cities that they travel to.
Yes.
So it's absolutely something that they're looking for. We actually have 6 Fortune, I'd say 200 corporations in our advisory board who are engaging with us on a very regular basis and guiding us on all major strategic decisions that we make. So we're getting a very warm reception
Good.
to Mint House. And I think the reason for the warm reception is that they all see this gap today,
Yes.
and they're all looking for somebody or a number of suppliers to start to fill that gap in a professional manner.
It's all about that traveller centricity and providing services to help them do the business that they're there to do, right?
Exactly,
And if something like your proposition gives them a better experience and that reflects itself in the business they're doing, then that definitely should be their focus.
Yes.
What would you say, given that this is an area of development in the industry, what would you suggest to buyers that they need to be thinking about then when it comes to their travel management strategy? What guidance would you provide to them based on those buyer conversations?
Yeah, I think the first thing is to really understand what's going on within their program.
Okay.
So to dive into that non-compliant lodging spend and understand where it's going.
Yes.
And then obviously to speak to their travelers to understand why that compliance issue is surfacing.
Yeah.
And then frankly, I would say support companies like Mint House. And there's a number of us trying to establish this category in developing this model for business travelers. We're, as I said, on the GDS. We offer corporate rates. We have corporate-friendly cancellation terms. But most importantly, the safety and security aspect is a top priority for us. So duty of care is critical, and it's something that we're spending a lot of time on, open to lots of feedback. So I think generally there's an opportunity, and now there's a number of interesting, innovative startups in this particular area. So we would all benefit from the corporations supporting us as we try and build out this alternative option for business travelers.
I think it's an interesting point, is that because the tendency might be that you look at top line figures and you see some leakage in your hotel program, and you may make the assumption, well, that's loyalty and that's people making decisions to go direct. The reality might be, if you start to dig deeper into the reasons why you're seeing leakage, that it could be a change in the type of accommodation they're booking. And so your guidance on not just looking at the data, but then digging deeper and doing qualitative investigations with people, I think is a really smart thing to say.
Yeah.
So thank you very much for joining us today, Shane, and we wish you all the best with the company and the product, and look forward to hearing lots of great things from you.
Terrific. Thank you, Paul.
Okay, thanks very much.
You too.